Once 40 acres, the Krebs farmhouse now sits on 2.37 acres and contains remnants of the original farm. And for this reason, the entire site has been historically designated. Owners Sandy and Doug Ryder have thoughtfully and carefully preserved and restored this site. And I will read This is an ordinance designating the Krebs Farm located at 520 Lear Road as a full site historic landmark. Whereas the Avon Lake Planning Commission has, at its meeting of October 3rd, 2017, recommended to Council that the Krebs Farm located at 520 Lear Road be granted historic landmark designation, and whereas the request for historic landmark designation for the Krebs Farm has been reviewed by the Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission according to the Planning and Zoning Code, Chapter 1268, and whereas the Krebs family farmed 40 acres of farmland from 1896 to 1943, consisting of grapes on the north side of the property and cattle on the south side of the property. And whereas ownership of the property is well documented from 1824, with the current owner acquiring the remaining 1.372 acres in 1979. And whereas the farmhouse located on the Krebs Farm is approximately 160 years old. And whereas there is an outbuilding and a stable with a stone foundation and hung beams and support. And whereas one of the two cisterns still exists behind the stable, and whereas historic designation gives residents of our community a deeper sense of understanding and appreciation of Avon Lake heritage, now therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the City of Avon Lake, State of Ohio, that Council of the City of Avon Lake does hereby grant the Krebs Farm located at 520 Lear Road the designation of historic landmark. This is signed by Martin E. O'Donnell, Council President, and Gregory J. Zilka, Mayor.
This is heavy. Maybe Doug wants that. Congratulations.
Oh,
Bob knows as much about our houses as we do. She has a real passion about things old and preserving also, so that's nice. We've enjoyed working with her and with Linda Lee. So why would a person work for 30 plus years restoring an old farmhouse? You know, you have to say the person would be, the two people together would be passionate about restoration and preservation and wanting things to be, historic things to be still maintained. And the other part would be, they'd have to be a little bit crazy. I think we qualify for both of those because you have to, it's the only way. So figuring out how to maintain whatever, how to change whatever needs to be and keep it in the spirit. But I just want to tell one brief story. How we found the house. Okay, we used to live in an older house, but not as old, on 83, near Walker, oddly enough. We're near Walker now, but down the other end of town. And this house is now gone, but we loved to garden. So there was property available on the north side of our house that we didn't own, but just married, and so we liked to garden there, so we did, and we hauled water and so one day Doug decided we need some dry manure, so you know Holly Hill Farm, which is now gone too, but down the road, well, that was 30 plus years ago when people didn't travel the road, really. There was no reason, you know, no interchange, no big reason to travel unless you knew somebody there. So Doug is down at Holly Hill getting manure. I get a phone call that he needs to know about. This is before cell phones. So I get in the car, drive down Lear, which we hadn't been down. Again, there's no reason to go there. And I see this house is for sale. Set back, the house that we eventually bought. And we weren't even looking for a house. And I get to where Doug is shoveling at Holly Hill, and I say, get in the car as soon as you can, we're gonna go and buy this house. And of course, as many of my ideas, you know, it's like, oh my God, that is ridiculous. And over time, you know, various this and that. I mean, it's the right place for us and our background and what our values are. So that's the story. That's 50 words.
Sandy and I really appreciate the efforts that the City of Avon Lake has put into this venture of historic preservation, and having the committee do their due diligence in doing work, and each one of you serving to do that. And we want to thank each one of you and Glenda Lee for helping give the perspective in so many different ways. 6 years ago, we had a letter from John Shondell, and he had gone through the house, but we knew it wasn't quite ready to be to do what we wanted to do yet. So here we are today, and we thank each one of you as friends and family, and each one of the people who have a role in the city. So Bobby, later on, you're going to talk about where we're located and offer anyone here an invitation to come and see the house. And